Okay, let's talk about the dominant in minor now. So, slide 33. So the dominant in minor, it's a lot like in major, right? The fifth scale degree of the minor scale is called the dominant. To see why, look again at Wayfaring Stranger in the songbook. And notice, and you actually don't have to count all these, but let's look at slide 34 now here. So there are 68 notes in the Wayfaring Stranger melody. And the chart here on slide 34 shows the number of times each tone occurs. So remember, Wayfaring Stranger is in D minor, right? So the dominant, right, the fifth scale degree occurs 19 times in the tonic, right? So our tonic is scale degree 1, occurs 22 times, and the dominant occurs 19 times out of those 68. So the tonic D and the dominant A emerge as the most emphasized pitches in this melody. So the tonic-dominant relationship will provide as clear a framework in minor keys as it does in major keys. This tonic-dominant relationship we will keep in mind as we move forward in this class. So keep that in mind. And let's move on to slide 35. So to wrap up this chapter, we'll just talk a little bit more about solfege and numbers. So if you have been using the solfege system or numbers in the major keys, like we kind of were working on in the last chapter, you may wonder how to deal with this in the minor keys. And so because the minor scale, at least in its natural form, is also the major scale beginning and ending with the sixth scale degree, like we were just talking about earlier in the last video, we can keep the same solfege syllables for the minor scale. So, for example, in A natural minor, right, we can sing it like this. La, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and backwards. La, we'd have la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Okay. And let's move on to slide 36. So to indicate the raised seventh scale degree in the harmonic minor form, you can substitute C, the syllable S-I, C, for sol. And so we might get, we'll get something that goes like la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, and then si, la, si, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. So take a minute and maybe pause this video. Practice that for yourself, okay? And then let's move on to slide 37. So with the melodic minor form, the raised sixth degree of the scale is sung as fi instead of fa, right? So we'll get this. We'll have la, ti, do, re, mi, fi, si, la. But then remember, going backwards, we'd have to put it back to the natural minor form. So like la, and then we'd have sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Right? Because in melodic minor, we go natural minor on the descent. Okay. Now to wrap this up, so if you have been using numbers, which personally I'm a little bit more partial to, you may continue as you have before, with the tonic as 1 and the dominant as 5. I think the number system is just a little more consistent than the solfege system. So we'll get something that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or with perhaps a harmonic minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or with melodic minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then of course on the way back, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just one note here regarding the solfege system. Well, there are. We're not really going to go too far into it in this class, and I'm not really going to test too much on it. I might ask you a couple questions, but different schools of thought, they use even different kinds of solfege systems. So you have something called fixed do and solfege and movable do solfege. We're not really going to get too far into that, but after, should you go on to another like ear training course, your instructor will probably pick either one of those, and so it can be a little confusing because different instructors like to use different methods, and it can be a little confusing. So in this class, we're not going to go too far into it, so don't worry about it too much for this class. All right, but I will ask you maybe 2 or 3 questions about it.